With us now is Aliona Sinenko, spokesperson for the International Committee of the Red Cross in Nairobi. Thank you very much for speaking with us. What is the situation now as far as you know?
The situation is becoming increasingly dire with every day, because now we are looking at more than a week of heavy, uninterrupted fighting that has been taking place in the capital Khartoum and also in other parts of the country like Darfur. People are exhausted. They have run out of supplies. There are acute food and water shortages in the capital now. And in this situation, they're facing dire and very difficult choices, either to stay at home and without any basic life supplies, or try to reach safety at enormous personal risk because there's still fighting taking place. But the most concerning for us is the situation in the hospitals, because the healthcare system is on the verge of total collapse, with hospitals running out of supplies and also being without electricity and without water.
Are there any efforts to help by anybody?
We are trying to help. We managed to deliver medical supplies to 2 hospitals in Darfur last week, but it's far from being enough, considering the vast humanitarian needs that we are facing that grow. But the conditions for us as humanitarians are simply not there. There's been intense, heavy fighting in the residential neighborhoods, and we just were unable to move. Like bullets and shrapnel entered our offices. So we have been continuously making calls on all those who take part in this fighting to respect their obligations under the international humanitarian law and provide the necessary and urgent humanitarian truth for humanitarian workers to be able to move around, for ambulances to be able to reach wounded patients, for first responders to be able to collect dead bodies that now have been lying in the streets for days.
And that's your efforts. What about the governments? Are there any governments in the picture?
Well, we are making a lot of humanitarian diplomacy efforts, trying to speak with the regional actors, with global actors, with also those who take part in this fighting and these hostilities. Anyone who can have any influence on what is happening on the ground and who could help facilitate this vital and urgent humanitarian space for us to be able to do our work, but also for Sudanese civilians just to be able to reach safety or get some basic supplies.
How long, how many days until we may eventually see a humanitarian disaster there?
I'm afraid that we are starting to see humanitarian disaster. We're talking about thousands of people who were wounded, and the healthcare system that is, I would say, not on the verge of collapse, but that is already collapsing, because we are now talking about almost 70% of the health facilities that stopped functioning. Who is going to care for all these wounded people?
Yeah, that's a very disturbing question, and it's going on as we speak. Aliona, I thank you very much from the Red Cross. Thank you very much for this update.